Hey Elf, I'm gonna go ahead and grind out this arena. Where's the event? Somewhere here. This one, right? Yeah. We like stuff. Stuff is fun. Okay. Hey Bleezy, how's it going? Also, let me double check. It's not actually about points, right? It's just about using them. Yeah. So we can start with the 1 stars, just fine. Okay. Yeah, I probably could have just done this while watching TV, but the TV that I have queued up, I want to pay a little bit more attention to. So I don't know, hanging out. Good old Arena AI. Oh, please don't. Okay. Oh, that's brutal, Elijah. Yeah, I don't think it is the normal starting AI. I do think they changed something, but I also don't think it's the highest level either. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think so, Elijah. The whole reason that oof. The whole reason that 1 stars have limited kits is for tutorial reasons. Not having signature abilities to complicate things very much counts. I'm blown away that this opponent is running recoil, but not liquid courage or double edge. Yeah, same thing there, Bleezy. Keeps him simple. That's on purpose. Yeah, I don't enjoy it either. Hey, Punjabi. I I graduated from the University of Southern California with a degree in trombone performance. Not quite astrophysics. But I appreciate the intended vote of confidence. An actual Deadpool bleed finishing the fight. How about that? Ska band? Not when I went to college. Briefly in high school. I didn't really play for a few years. It was a combination of the new job not leaving me a lot of work, or a lot of time for it. Not if I wanted to keep up my channel. And just while I was living with my parents, I didn't really want to... It's really hard to explain, because my parents were really supportive, and so, like, I don't... It's not really fair to them that I didn't want to play around them, but when I took a break on purpose, and after that, I knew I was coming back, and I don't know. I wanted more privacy than I had in that to, like, really rediscover things. But now that I've moved out, I feel like I have that, and I have picked it back up in the last month or so. Don't know how I feel about that one, Mr. V, but hi. Afternoon, Sans. Yeah, I've done that before too, EK. Should not have thrown a ranked 2-star in there. Impressive. This one's gonna be painful. Or not. I didn't think we'd get through that before he went into overcharge or whatever. Meltdown? Something. A lot of those abilities in the game. Still going because I'm aborting my war fight. Yeah, I've got my war fights to do as well. I've got a pretty big war. I think I've got 8 fights. They're all pretty good ones, so it's fine. I just need to do them. In some ways, Yellow Jacket is tankier than Sasquatch, depending on who you're using. That's actually really cool, EK. That's a really good reading count. I respect that a lot. Yeah, I understand that, Elijah. Ouch. That was my fault. I played that very differently. If you're gonna ask a question like that, Mr. V, you're gonna have to be a lot more specific about before. If they ever did buff OG Cap, would they keep his block proficiency? Well, the thing about OG Cap is not his block proficiency, it's his perfect block chance. Perfect block chance is not very interactive. So, maybe, maybe not. Hey, Jason, welcome. Oh, nice, Punjabi, yeah. I know some friends who went to Eastman. There's probably recordings somewhere, but not many. Not many in public places, anyway. I haven't looked in a while. Probably should, see if I can put together a playlist. In the past 2 months? Not that I've noticed. I mean, my iPad isn't lasting long, but my iPad isn't lasting long, like, doing anything. Its battery is just spent at this point. So I don't really hold that against the game. Now this is the arena AI we know and hate. Hey, John. Perfect Block doesn't really interact with that. They kind of just bypass each other. Incinerate has to turn off Perfect Block chance for that reason. Because back when Incinerate was first introduced to the game, we had the Perfect Block teams, right? There was very high Perfect Block available. And so if you were going to try and hurt somebody's block proficiency with Incinerate, you needed to actually be able to do that. Little bit of an artifact now, because Perfect Block isn't the same thing that it used to be, but kind of an interesting thing to think about. I do hear you there, EK. I probably don't have as many books as you to point to, but I get what you mean. As I turn around and look at the nonfiction shelf, behind me. Hey, Cam, how's it going? No idea. I don't know that I've ever tried to play this game with an iPad Air. Closest I've ever come was when I was getting my most recent playtest device provisioned. They asked me if an iPad Air would work, and I said no, probably not. But I don't know what... I think that was an older one, so I don't want to chase you off entirely. Shock does not have any extra effects. I'm not really sure, honestly. Like, I'm sure the description on Wiccan is a holdover from Silver Centurion, because they were the same designer, and Silver Centurion was that designer's first character. So there is a non-zero chance that they just thought Shock did have effects, because they would not be the first to think that, now would they? Nice, Cyber. That's fine. What do you mean you lose refresh? I really hate goblins power stuff. Everything's so much slower. Hmm. Well, that's because the point of the shocks to the incinerates is to get you to the plasmas. But, like, plasmas eating up flames is what gets you the ability to easily pause while holding on to all of your spells, right? You want to burn your flame incinerate, the passive incinerate, so that you can then re-up it easily and get that pause, right? If they didn't do that, if you didn't consume them into plasmas, then once you had all of your stuff, you wouldn't be able to pause. You'd have to wait for things to fall off, more like Surfer and Kushala. So I don't think it's accurate to say there's no gain. Yeah, it tries. Probably not, Punjabi, honestly. Like, I'm not really a Juggernaut fan, but congrats to you. I think, like, Nico's Sig is a lot more important than Juggernaut's. The Nullify is nice, but you're mainly using Juggernaut because he's a giant sledgehammer, and he doesn't really need his Sig for that. What's more, Juggernaut, a large Juggernaut is one of the most banned champions in the game, and an unduped Juggernaut is going to be harder to find in your roster for a lot of people who aren't taking the bans all of that seriously. And so it can even be an advantage. Nice, EK. That's cool to know. I will keep that in mind next time I decide to upgrade. Because my pro is starting to age. Hey, Jason, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to read that in a second when Mantis decides to behave. I don't know why I did that. That was stupid. Alright, come Whoa! Whoops. Alright. Raise tag champs change with the last update. Is there a rule of how long till the pools change again? Not really. I think when in doubt, like, assume there's just basically gonna be some change every month. Like, the whole point of raids is that, and before anyone gets there, I understand that the pools are not all created exactly equal, but the point of raids is that you should be able to use pretty much anybody to get through those health pools. And we want you to use different champs, right? So, like, don't get too attached to anyone in those pools. It's funny, man. Yeah, that's also good to know. I know it's fashionable to call raids map or map 9, but it's not. Like, it's intended as something separate, right? By which I mean that, like, we've said this before very clearly, so I don't think this is a leak. I don't think we have any intention of making raids an every week thing, because if raids is an every week thing, then it loses the novelty that is a significant part of its appeal. And if you're that attached to Purgatory, that's exactly why you shouldn't be, right? Like, means you're probably not really playing the mode the way it's supposed to be. Oh, good old Scorpion in Arena not being able to do anything. I honestly completely forgot. I mean, if you have 11 people not joining Antrasis, then the answer's pretty clear. Stop running 3 groups. What you're describing is a 2 BGs alliance. And if the rewards for 2 BGs are unacceptable, then you should probably be looking for a different alliance. And I know that might sound harsh, but that's the trade-off, right? This AI makes him so miserable. How come Juggernaut isn't used that much in Tier 1? Because the nodes and placements and champions in Tier 1 aren't asking you to use a sledgehammer that gets easy openings and nothing else, right? Juggernaut is very low in utility and easily disrupted by a lot of nodes. He's worth it in Battlegrounds because winning the fight in a single special 2 gets you more points, right? In War, it doesn't. Staying alive and winning more often gets you more points. There are probably more places Juggernaut could go, but why bother, really? Yeah, I would absolutely just do that rank anyway, Jason. Yeah, I imagine that would probably be true for me too, EK. Because I do notice the difference between my iPad and other things. Nice, Cyber, congrats. I think I've made that Ronin Adam mistake once before in Arena or something. It is miserable. That was my fault. Hey, Omega. Yeah, no, I think you'll be just fine there, Jason. Well, they told you the answer, Antrasis. If it's bothering you enough to come and chat about it here, kick him. Hey, Clubs. I've been there, Blazing. Oh, we should move to the other, what you call it? The other arena. Sounds good, Jason. Hey, Don. Yeah, I think that makes sense, Neos. They definitely have some similarities. Oops. Ah. There we go. Not today, Antrasis. No, I don't think so, Dot. Cole's great, but, like, he's not necessary. I feel like the iPad's getting a little tired. It feels kind of slow in that fight. Yeah, I think Elijah's right. They're just intended to be easy to hit. It's a victory lap. And like so many of us, myself included right here, do blitz through them, but they're also tuned so that you can just come back on the with the 1 stars and get them really easily that way. You don't really need to do it all in one round. Let's see, how far did that take us in the solo event so far? About halfway? Yeah, a little under. Cool. I'm sure there's data there somewhere. I don't remember ever looking at it. Nor do I really think the data would be all that helpful, honestly. Like, in serious content, recoil masteries are often a hindrance. If people insist on using them there and then aren't happy that they do or don't work out, like, that's... I don't know. How much people insist on using them, I don't think would shape my feelings on basically any content design. And what I mean by that is not like people who use recoil can get lost. I never think about them. It's more that just the number of them doesn't matter, right? Um, for any given piece of content, you know that there's going to be some number of people who would prefer to do it with them on. And so the question you ask yourself is, um, do you account for that or not? And that's basically the whole thing. Whoops. Was on my phone when I got hit. She had incredible buff luck. Yeah, I use them for war occasionally. And back in the day, I did a few serious arena grinds. Like, it's... You play the game for long enough, it's usually good to have them. But they're not really needed for anything. How long until I have access to the 1-stars? Oh, okay, it's 2 hours. So, not gonna happen tonight. That's fine. Am I ever on call? As in, like... Do you mean for work or for streaming? Only over the holidays. And it's never once come up. When the studio's closed over the holidays, we, like, do a head count of, hey, who absolutely cannot be on call for these days, and then, you know, the team leads go through and make sure that nobody's on call when they really don't want to be, but that everybody has at least one day when they're primary and one day when they're secondary, so that if something breaks that needs a character designer to fix it, one of us is around. And I've actually often been the person who's available on Christmas itself, because I, for the last couple years, haven't had anything that's really taken me away where I will be completely out of contact. But like I said, it's... I usually check Slack once or twice on those days when I am on call, but I've never once been needed so far. Woof. Yeah, I don't envy you that. I very much like the work-life balance at Kabam. I have Slack on my phone, but the notifications are off, and I only check it when I choose to. My boss does not have Slack on his phone. And I probably should be more like that. Yeah, that makes sense too, Elijah. when I've done casual arena streams in the past for units, I have not put on recoil. I only ever did it, for the big ones. Yeah, I would probably still take Reed to rank 3 without. I agree. I mean, if I absolutely needed to get a hold of him for something, I could. That was my fault. I was greedy. Take care, Jason. Hey, ABT. No, I completely understand. I kind of miss arena streams sometimes, but it has been a long time since I have not been behind on needing something to do in MCOC. Or needing to do something in MCOC. I don't know what just came out of my mouth, but I think y'all understood. Cool. iPad's getting a little hotter, but I think this is probably just a long session at this point. Get ready for all the crit failure. Fade. Same screeching tone as pager duty. Yeah, you are not gonna catch me setting alarms for those. Yeah, no, there is something up with my inputs right now. Probably gonna restart the iPad when I'm done here. Like I said. Alright, Nico, come on, let's do this. Oof, I can't even dex you. That is my least favorite thing about playing Yellow Jacket, is the, like, the short power stings that destroy your tempo when they pop. Value in BGs? Yeah, no, I think that's a very defensible choice, Scooty. What's my current side game? Against the Storm, which some of y'all have heard me talk about. Some of y'all have seen me play. I think I did a members-only stream of it at one point. Against the Storm came out with an update not too long ago. They added another playable race, and so I've been playing a bit of that. And then I got a new PS5 recently, and I've been playing Clair Obscur, which I like very much. Yes, there absolutely have been, BT. I was talking to some of the engineers about it earlier today. Cause hasn't been isolated yet, but it's getting a serious look. That's funny, Gloves. Yeah, that's fair, man. I do appreciate stuff like that. Against the Storm, I think, is quite good with that. The little, events. Bro, what are you doing? Yeah, agreed, Elijah. I saw a reference on Slack today to a bit of a slower month, and I was like, sounds great. Sounds absolutely amazing. Yeah, it gets hot all the time, and if I don't have it plugged in, the battery's like 45 minutes. I mean, it served me really well, EK. I bought it sometime in grad school. So it's probably approaching 10 years now. Because I've been in this job for 3 years. I was out of grad school for 3 years before that. So if I bought the iPad and was using it at some point in grad school, it's probably at least 8 years old. Which, like, I really believe in getting the full value out of what you call it, out of purchases, but 8 years isn't bad. Yeah, BT, Ensnare is absolutely the main threat in that fight. That's a good first try. I imagine you get it next time. I did die once myself. It was while I had COVID, in my defense, and my reflexes were not up to the amount that she evaded. So I'm letting myself off the hook a little bit, but as good as I think the fight is, and as happy as I would be to take it again, it is tough. There might be clubs. Or they might just not care. No, Alberto, that is not a bug. That's exactly what her info page says, right? When a buff is prevented by immunity, right? That's exactly what a buff immune champion is doing. No, I hear you, BT. She's very, very annoying to fight. Yeah, exactly, Elijah. Yeah. Like, that's kind of the thing. I can understand it not being completely intuitive in the first place, but it definitely is logical. Like, that's the only way it can work. And then from a, like, meta design perspective, buff immunity champs have had it pretty good for a pretty long time. They kind of just shut down most of an entire class. It's okay if a couple champions bite back. Because the same thing happens with Claire, right? She gains power against buff immune champions. Yeah, it's... That's funny, Min, because when I tried Honkai, I did it on my phone, not on my iPad. But you can check it out elsewhere. I think both of those work on PC. I noticed when I got my PS4 that both of them were available for download on their, or sorry, PS5. I don't plan to go back to them, but I'm sure they're pretty fun there. Cool. Yeah, I do definitely understand that. For a while now, it's been my minimum is always at least the second tier of whatever storage is available on a new device. Often the third. It just comes up too much. That's funny, BT. Nice, man. I'm glad. They're definitely worth checking out. Yeah, they are giants of games. Hey, Pub. How's it going, man? Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, Omega. Do iPads support SD cards? I don't think they do. Yep, that's funny. I can't sleep, so here I am. That was me this morning. I woke up about an hour and a half before I intended to, but I just couldn't get back to sleep. And I also knew that even if I did get back to sleep, I would just be unhappy about when I finally woke up. Yeah. Some days it just happens like that. Hopefully I get to bed a little sooner tonight. They might be men, but I didn't have that impression. The UI is pretty clean. That was my fault. That one wasn't. Oh, I just realized I definitely need to restart my iPad before I try and play War. Case in point. Okay. I think this is probably the last round. This feels awful. And it's getting worse. Nice, Pablo. That's cool. Yeah, I don't think you'll regret it, BT. I'm very happy with Gene. Okay, I'll do some more of this later. We got to 60 out of 100. Next milestone gets us read. Yeah, this is going fine. I think that's fair enough, BT. Cass has some really cool stuff going on. Absolutely. But I do think Gene is a little more straightforward. That's fine. I get the points or I don't. My account is doing okay. That's awesome, Nier. I will definitely check that out soon. We were just talking about that fight earlier. That's a good question, Moo. Give me 1 second. I have to check another tab for that. I don't remember. Does it say passively gain true accuracy? Because that'd be your first clue. Yep, it's passive. And yeah, I was kind of expecting it to be passive for the same reason. It reminds me of nulls. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean here. I enjoy the fight too when I'm in a good headspace for it. It is absolutely just slow and steady. It's like, this is dangerous. I'm taking damage. I don't feel like super comfortable, but I am in control, and I can kill you before you kill me. Yeah, so that's your clue for the future, Mumu. Whenever something says passive or passively, that's telling you that it is subject to ability accuracy because passives are subject to ability accuracy unless we say otherwise. Yeah, I can understand that, Elijah. I have some cards that I probably need to sell, and some more cards that I probably should have sold, but never got around to. I'm probably gonna rank up Reed. I can go take a look at the other Saga, whatchacallits. Um, champions. But I think I have a lot of them ranked. So I don't think it's super important to me. What do you mean, Blizzard? As in, like, the power drain didn't work? Yeah, if it's literally frame perfect, that would make sense, right? For the same reason, kind of like what we were talking about with passives. The power drain on Stark's Heavy is a passive. And Fury removes all effects, right? And effects are passives, buffs, and debuffs. And when you remove something for that frame, if you're removing all, you are also immune to anything incoming. So that's where that is. That's a pretty sweet batch of 2 stars. Definitely a weird interaction, but that does sound correct. Anything else in here? I don't think so. Yeah, let's take a look real quick at the Saga 7 stars. Obviously, there's some good ones up there. Yeah, so the rank 2s start at Terrax. So I already have, I guess, just the Catalyst to take anyone out I want. So yeah, Spider-Woman is obviously a pretty high priority. It is a good batch. I like Diablo, I like Penny. Morbius has grown on me. Kindred is great. Like, yeah, this is just a good batch. Ant-Man's really solid. Joaquin does good stuff. Scream is cracked. Mojo's a lot of fun. I think I will take up Reed, but yeah, it's not really a lot of wrong answers in there. Yeah, I bet Blizzard. Okay, I feel myself getting sleepy, so I'm gonna go ahead and log off. Probably try and rally so that I can do my war fights, but I'm gonna turn off my iPad first because it needs a nap. All right, thank you, everybody. Take care. Yeah, that warlock has only been on my account for like a month, Elijah. He's dodged me for a long time. Did the same thing as a 6 star. Yeah. Take care, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.